504, January 28th, McCracken Fiscal Court meeting. And clerk, take the roll, please.
Commissioner Bartleman.
Here.
Commissioner Parker.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
And Judge Leeper.
I'm
sorry.
He's not here.
Judge Leeper, I'm so sorry. Out of habit there.
I'm here.
Oh, me.
And Commissioner Bartleman, are we going to pray for us?
Yes, yeah. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for the blessings of this day. We thank you for the opportunity we have to gather together. We just pray you be with us tonight as we conduct the business of McCracken County, giving us the wisdom we need to make the decisions that's the best for all. Father, we're so thankful for what you do for us day by day. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And pledge. We don't have our scout troop tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let's see, we had time to look at the minutes. We need to approve the minutes.
Will we approve the minutes?
It's a motion, second. Any discussion? All right, the minutes are approved then.
Aye.
Oh, yeah, sorry. All in favor, aye, and opposed, no?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. All right, and then we've got a discussion. We've got with us Teresa Barton and Ryan Baker with Energy Solutions. They're going to go over in a brief form about our energy survey and steps we've been taking here in the courthouse and other properties.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Judge Clymer, members of the court. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Teresa Barton with Energy Systems Group. Also have Ryan Baker. He's really the brains behind all this, but I can tell you the details of the project. It has been, gosh, I guess a full year since you've had the installation of your project. It was completed, I guess it was in September of 2017. And usually it takes a few months between getting the utility data, receiving the utility data and actually doing the reconciliation to get your report. So each year at this time, we'll be presenting your annual measure and verification report for the energy savings project. In front of you in your packet, I believe you have about a 5 or 6 page summary, and it will include an introduction, executive summary, and a few other items which I'll quickly go through. There is a more comprehensive booklet which has lots and lots of calculations in it, and you're more than welcome to, I know Judge Clymer, I'm sure you would allow them if they'd like to look at the detail of that as well. I know Deputy Judge Moore has a copy as well, and we do at Energy Systems Group. But briefly, it's good news, very good news. During year one, you had a total cost savings of $233,000, $233,868, and you would have spent $621,000 in that same period, October 2017 through September 2018. There's a little more detail about how each measure is measured and verified, and we can get into that detail if you'd like, but it's a lot of detail. Because this is your first full year, there is a construction period, and you also have achieved some savings during that period. So what's really exciting is that during that savings period from the construction all the way to your first period, you saved $374,000 in utility bills. So to us, that's very exciting. You have achieved your savings. You've actually exceeded them. The second page is an executive summary. It goes into a little bit more detail about the $200,000 savings that you've achieved for energy. And it is a 15-year project. The total was $3.7 million. If any of those details make any difference to especially the new members of the commission. And then the next page covers the methodology for verification, so if you want more detail about each measure. And this includes upgrades to your jail, your park, the courthouse, and most of the facilities. Do you remember exactly how many facilities were included?
There's 6, 7. 2 EOC, Carson Park, jail, courthouse. Yeah, that's 6. Is that right, Doug?
Emergency management.
Yeah. Road department, there we go. That's what I was missing.
So it was quite a comprehensive project. And then a little bit later in your packet that you have in front of you, it is also a few of the pages that are from the exact guarantee that was contained within the contracts. We wanted you to be able to compare those numbers should you have any questions about how we achieve those numbers. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I think, again, it's good news. You have achieved the savings based on the measurement verification that we have calculated. And we're here for you if you need anything, have any problems with any of the construction. And we keep in close contact with the deputy judge, and happy to answer any questions if we can.
Any questions? Any discussion about it? There's an item on our docket for it's letter L to pay these good folks. So we'll get to that in the line as we go through it. But if you have any questions or anything, now's the time. Everybody good? All right. All right. Thank you very much,
It was an honor doing work with McCracken County. We're very privileged that we got the opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We enjoy working with you. And we have Lori Brown here from Lotus that's wanting to bring us up to speed on their program out there. What they're doing right now.
Yeah. I'm Lori Brown. I'm the Executive Director with Lotus. We're formerly the Purchase Area Sexual Assault and Child Advocacy Center. And on behalf of our Board of Directors and our staff and those we serve, I want to thank you all for your time. For those of you who may not know, we are your designated children's advocacy and sexual violence research program serving the Purchase area. Our mission is supporting survivors, strengthening families, and empowering communities to end child abuse and sexual violence. We are committed to ending violence through impact-driven community collaboration, prevention education, outreach, and social justice advocacy. This year alone, we expect to serve to improve safety, healing, and justice outcomes for at least 1,400 all-age survivors through our specialized intervention and restorative programs. We also expect to engage over 10,000 youth and adults in our mission to cultivate nonviolent communities with freedom for every person to live fully. And with the support of this community, we're having more and more success in our mission. In fact, more success in our mission this last year than ever before. We provided an increase in specialized services of 145% to 80% more survivors and their families this past year than we were just 5 years ago. And so for us, we're committed to creating opportunities for survivors and families and communities to hope, heal, and grow. And we've been fortunate to be able to grow our organization to continue and sustain this kind of growth. Over the past 5 years, we've been able to increase our budget by 250%. We've been able to more than double our staffing over the last 5 years, and we've worked to increase our facilities so that we can accommodate more specialized services to more survivors and families. For those of you who may not know, our Paducah facility, we actually acquired that facility back in 1999 with your help. The McCracken County Fiscal Court helped us acquire a community development block grant, and we purchased the facility out on Friendship Road. In the nonprofit world, it's as good as it gets. We have a 99-year lease on that facility, $1 a year. It is a beautiful piece of property that we really have worked to create a sanctuary for survivors and family, and so we're really grateful to you all for that. But when we acquired that facility back in 1999, we were a standalone sexual assault center at the time. And so since that time, back in 2007, we assumed the designation as a children's advocacy program, making us a dual program. And so, of course, the services and those we serve have continued to grow since that time. In fact, we did a really in-depth needs analysis back in 2014 because we had outgrown the facility really at that time to do what we needed to do, and started laying the foundation to develop a project where we could design the facility specifically for both our specialized children's advocacy centers as well as our sexual violence resource services as well, and also where we could design a campus that was more effective in supporting our community outreach and engagement initiatives as well. And so at that time, we worked with Don Riley, an architect in Mayfield, to do that needs analysis. And over the last 6 months or so, we've been working with Ray Black & Son Some of the key features of the project that we've been developing are developing a specialized children's advocacy center wing, so that not only our kids and families have a facility that is designed for the services to support them, but also our multidisciplinary partners, our prosecutors, our law enforcement, our social services have the facilities designed for them to come in to be able to, for us to collaborate and work together in providing these services and in making the best decisions for these kids and families. Some of the other key features are two of the other structures on the property. Back in 2007, when we assumed the designation for the Children's Advocacy Center, we did a first renovation of an old storage building. It was a greenhouse and then a storage building into an expressive arts therapy center. And it was the first center of that kind serving survivors in the state. It really allowed us to develop our clinical program at that time, and it's allowed lots of wonderful opportunities for survivors and families to heal over these years. We were lucky enough to receive some federal funding, and I had spoken with former Judge Leeper back in the summer about renovating that. And so since we spoke back in July, we have renovated that for the second time, that Expressive Arts Therapy Center. And then we also renovated an existing garage structure into a new holistic healing center on the property as well. And we've just finished up those renovations and will be opening those centers up for services in the next few weeks. The project that we are looking at and that we're proposing and asking you all to consider really is allowing us to invest. It's about a $2 million project for the additional pieces of this full project, and that's the renovation of the main facility. And we've already secured about a $500,000 federal grant that would support the renovation of that facility designed for direct victim services, as well as some of the sidewalks and the hardscapes and parking that go along with that. That particular grant does not allow for adding square footage, however, and so we've been working to set ourselves up in a position where we could go ahead while we're doing the renovation of the main facility and complete this full project this year is what we'd like to be able to do. There are several key advantages. One is the cost savings that would go along with doing the full project at one time, and the other, I think most critical, would be lessening a disruption of services, because we would be moving off-site during the 6 months that this project would be taking place. And so for us, this is something that, because we were fortunate enough to receive this initial piece of funding for the renovation of the main facility and are in a position to move forward with the full project that we would like to be able to do. The timeline that we're looking at is being able to start the construction project in March, and it would be completed within a 6-month period. So I know I went over a lot of information pretty quickly. I'd just like to see what other questions you all may have or what other additional information that you may need.
Okay. No question?
One of the other key features in the full project is it's called our Sanctuary Project, and it includes restorative landscape and therapeutic gardening. We were lucky to secure a grant from HDR Foundation, about a $75,000 grant. So we're currently designing that landscape architectural plan now, and even some of their national folks are wanting to get involved and help support that project as well. So that's a really, I think, a big deal for this community.
I think maybe part of the reason why we don't have questions is we have a lot of confidence in, how you're running the operation out there and the people that you have.
Let me ask one question, if I could. Yeah. Do you coordinate your services with other agencies such as Merriman House? Do you all work together?
Oh, absolutely. For us, we know that providing trauma-informed services requires a team approach. And I think in working with not just our multidisciplinary partners, but also other victim service and social service agencies here as well. So yes, we do, certainly.
So you work together, you're not in competition with one another?
Oh, no. So just a little bit of background. Kentucky has 3 victim service networks, one for children's advocacy, one for sexual violence, and one for domestic violence. So every region has some form of all 3 of those programs. Here in our region, we're a dual children's advocacy and sexual violence, and then Merriman House is a domestic violence. Okay. So even though there's some overlap, we collaborate and work together. They would provide some specific services. They provide shelter, we do not. So we refer for the services that we don't provide and vice versa with them as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
So
Is there a present request for economic funding?
Well, right now, I think the most pressing is, because of the terms of the lease, is for you all, the county, to approve us moving forward with the project. And then we have talked, and I hope we can continue to talk about exploring additional maybe opportunities for funding as well. We're certainly doing that on our own, but have interest in looking at exploring community development possibilities this year or next year as well.
There's nothing on for tonight for us to make any decision.
No,
It's
really
just
tonight was
informational.
about you all, just if you approved that we could move forward with the project for making the improvements to the property in accordance with the lease terms.
And you need that approval by when?
Well,
Right now.
we're trying to get everything lined up so that hopefully we could begin the project, the construction in March. The federal funds that we have received do need to be expended before September 30th. And so that has kind of pushed our timeline up for the full project. It put us in a position to be able to get started with the full project this year, but it put us on a stricter timeline if we're able to get everything lined up by then. We're working with Ray Black & Son, and it's something that they're preparing to do as well.
Well, there's not any action item on that I'm aware of, and I don't see it for tonight, but I know I've met with you and we've gone over some figures, and perhaps we'll set something down for either this week or next week and try to flesh out and see what I know you're good at applying for grants and you know, trying to take care of the costs in every way that you can, but we'll get together at a good time and go over that again, see what we can do.
Maybe you can sign these guys up for men who cook.
I was getting ready to say we've had a couple of chefs here, and we appreciate that. Yeah, you all had a good time, Eddie.
We did.
We appreciate it. And I think that's really the reason we have had so much success, is because of the support of this community. I still remember when we did the first renovation of the Expressive Therapy Center, and the contractor we worked with said, when you ask, this community steps up, and we certainly continue to experience that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then we have a second reading of a budget amendment. Clerk, would you, Madam Clerk, read through that, please?
Do you want me just to read as it was before? There's not anything.
That's do you have the amended budget? Isn't that what we're doing, Sam? Read.
The only thing I've got is how it was in the orders last week.
Yeah, you know, this is the second reading of that.
Of that, right.
Right.
So I'm just reading that
Right.
over, right? Okay. It is ordered the first reading of Budget Amendment 2019-1 for funds pertaining to the unbudgeted grants, BOCA and VAWA, under budgeted federal prisoners revenue and under budgeted sheriff transport fees for fiscal year 2018-19. And then we have to where it showed the motion, who made the motion and who seconded. But
Well, do you have the figures there, the accounts and the figures? Oh, we need to go through the accounts and the figures, Sam, on the second.
normally on the second readings, we don't do all
We
that.
don't need to.
I'm not sure what ordinance we're actually about to have. On any type of, well, the second reading is simply going to be just another reading of the summary synopsis of the ordinance in full.
Right.
But
So-
see, it was actually just in the court orders last time. Yeah,
But still.
but it was voted on.
So it's ordered that you do the first reading of ordinance 2019-1 and the representation that are true and accurate copies and.
No, it wasn't all that. It wasn't like the normal ordinances that I normally read.
Well, then it wasn't in substantial compliance with the requirement for reading.
Yeah.
If that's the case, so this would Okay. I guess maybe I need to go back to the office and bring.
Well, why don't we just do, what about if we just do this, just go through here, and if we need to call this the first reading, we can do that if it wasn't in compliance before.
We can't call it the first reading.
No.
This is a budget amendment, and
Did I
so,
do this ordinance?
no.
Okay.
No, I did it based on what had been done in the past. And for budget amendments, it's not written like a normal ordinance.
That's why I don't know what we're talking about.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, that's why I was confused, and that's why I've been on my phone, like, what is this? Because it was confusing to me, too.
Okay.
They call it an ordinance, but it's really a budget amendment.
I'm gonna need to step out and take a look at this, because the KRS sections related to anything touching upon the enactment or amendment of an ordinance are all identical. And
Yeah.
this, I mean, this doesn't actually comport with what the statute requires.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know who, I mean, I don't know where,
I mean, normally isn't a budget amendment, we just do that as part of the court orders?
probably.
Yeah, because I have one in here from my office today.
That may very well
So
be.
I
but
thought that's why I was confused when I saw that was in here the way it was, because I was thinking that it should just be like part of the court orders.
well, you want to have a few minutes to,
I'm gonna need
Okay.
to step out and take a look.
we'll just run through the rest of the agenda.
Anything that says ordinance in it, we have to do a certain way, and I need to do the summary or.
I mean, we'll be a good 30,
Okay.
40 minutes
Yeah.
anyway.
I'll be
Because I think
back.
it's actually just a budget amendment, right?
That's all it is a
So
budget
that should just,
amendment.
yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead and you figure it out for sure, but that's the way I took it, that it just should be a part of a regular court order, which it was last week.
And I actually need to see the first, I need to see 2019-1.
That is
I mean,
2019.
this is.
You need to see
this is
the-
it.
That's it. It's a budget amendment, and that's the form from DLG, so that's all we do.
And we're amending budget.
We're amending the
2000.
FY19 budget, the FY18-19 budget. That's budget number,
So
amendment
that's the
number
one I
one.
need to refer to.
The original budget.
Right. So I can't amend an ordinance unless I refer to the ordinance that's being amended and I delineate the section that's being amended.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're not actually referring to an ordinance, right?
The budget is an ordinance. And we can't allocate money without an ordinance to say so. It's an ordinance.
Does it help you to have less meeting minutes, or?
Can we just, does this need to be done tonight, or can we pass?
This is holding me up.
Okay.
Until this budget is passed, I can't close out December's books and
Okay.
move on.
Okay.
All right. I'll be back.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm asking, is it not the same thing that I'm doing tonight with my budget? Because I guess that's kind of what I was under the impression of, and we just included in the court orders. And there's not anything that's,
I don't know if the difference is I have to run all of this through DLG.
yeah.
I don't know if that's what the difference is, but you have to have a first reading, I have to send it to them, they have to approve it, they send it back, you have to have a second reading.
Then
That's the
that would be
same
something different than
Procedure
mine.
is when you do the budget. You approve the first reading of a
Yes.
budget, you send it to Frankfurt, and then they approve it, and then you approve it.
Yes.
Is the budget done as an ordinance or a court order? The original budget?
It's,
I can't remember.
I think the original budget is an ordinance.
I think so too, and this kind of reads as an ordinance, you give it an ordinance number, but they call it a budget amendment. I don't know,
Was the first reading at our last meeting? on
Yes.
14th?
yes.
I don't see it in the.
It was in the orders, it
Yeah.
was.
That's what I just read, yeah, from my phone. How it was originally, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't remember what order number it was, but it was down in the orders
It
last
was
time.
KK, it was court order KK from the last time.
Okay.
From the McCracken County Jail. We have an exciting announcement today.
is KK. It was a short 2-sentence thing there. Sam will figure it out. He'll be back in a little bit. Come back to it. And then, let's see, we've got a budget transfer.
Okay.
Talk about this. You want to do this other guy first?
I'm going to do him right
Okay.
after we get
Okay.
these two things.
It is ordered to make the following cash transfers in the amount of $57,040.68 in order to pay county bills approved January 28, 2019.
All right. Is there a motion?
So made.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
Let me just, so
Yes.
we put this figure in here, 57,000, but then what, so are these going to be transfers that we later vote on?
No, if you have your packet, your AP packet,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so on that summary sheet, you see those transfers? You
Yes.
see all the departments listed? So those are the bills by department, and then, because all of these are not in separate bank accounts, it's not that kind of transfer, but all the money is sitting in the general fund. Like the road department's money is sitting in the general fund, so all the bills are paid out of one checking account out of the general fund.
I guess my question is are any of these funds then in section 5 of our agenda, which is for the orders?
No, that's all, this is all your accounts payable packet right here. That's what all that is.
Okay.
It's all those bills that we pay.
It's really just a paperwork procedure to transfer the money from the general fund to the individual accounts so they can be paid. We were criticized a couple years ago in the audit because before, I mean, it was prior to my service, but there was a criticism because they didn't transfer the funds properly. It's just a paperwork thing is all.
Okay, so this is enough money to pay the finance packet
Right.
that you gave us earlier on Friday.
Yep.
That's what these funds are. Okay.
These are all things that are in the budget and approved in the budget. You just have to move the money so you can write a check.
I guess what was throwing me off is when it says county bills approved January 28th, and I didn't know if that meant for things that were going to later be in section 5.
No, it's this packet. This is what you're approving, is this
Okay. Well,
packet.
that's what I thought, and then when it was the date that was throwing me off.
Because it's tonight's meeting.
For the whole, since the last meeting, the whole month, right?
What?
For January, correct?
Well, no, we do this every meeting.
Yeah.
Every meeting, you'll have a package. So since the last meeting, anything that came in from the last meeting to tonight is in this packet to be paid.
Okay, well, I went through the packet.
Okay.
I'm fine with the packet.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen the budget transfers that low. It's usually $200,000-300,000, so
Yeah.
wish we could do that every month.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then the accounts payable.
It is ordered to approve the vouchers claims register from January 14th, 2019 to January 28th, 2019 to show county bills in the amount of $474,065 were paid.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have, we're going to divert from the agenda just a bit. We have Neil Haley here. Mr. Haley asked to address the court. He has traveled a good ways. He has a serious matter he wanted to bring up for us to hear what he has to say concerning the accident in which I understand his sister died last year. And so I thought we'd go ahead and give him a few minutes to let him say what he has to say.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time, very last minute, let me speak tonight. I'm here mainly to request that a traffic study is conducted at the intersection of McKendree Church Road and Highway 286. As I understand, that's the next procedure that needs to be taken in terms of increasing the safety at that intersection in general. And so, on October 31st, my sister was in a really tragic car accident at that intersection, and the weather was said to be a factor in the accident, but there was also some trees in the way at the accident that seemed to be cut down the next day or within a few days afterwards. But looking into it a little more, there's been more accidents at the intersection. In just 2 months prior to hers, a very similar accident occurred. There was another fatal accident of 2 individuals, a father and a son. And it was the same thing where they missed the stop sign for an unknown reason in both cases, really, because there wasn't any research to be conducted afterwards. But I came back here in early November, and I went to the intersection and talked to some people around, read some of the articles that had been written in the earlier newspapers, and it just seemed like there was a need for an increase in safety at the intersection. I had an article written by the Paducah Sun a couple months back that didn't really, I don't think, get across what I was looking for. So the article looked more into installing a full-out traffic light, where that's not, I don't think that really would help necessarily, because it's not about stopping the traffic at going along Highway 286. It's just making sure that drivers see that stop sign coming up. You come over a hill, and talking to some people, it seemed like the overcast or haze can kind of cause an inability to see that. And it seems like all the other intersections nearby that are similar have either a flashing red light, or some of them I had even seen in neighboring towns that had a stop sign, but with a glowing ring around it, just to make it a lot easier to see someone, see the stop sign coming up, because it's a 55 mile an hour, I believe, going one way and 35 the other. So really, any accident that happens is going to be not a good one. And I realize the intersections in general are, the most dangerous place that you're going to drive, but it seems like that's the reason that we have these, this traffic equipment to be able to lessen that chance of risk at the intersection that it naturally has.
Have you been back out there, sir?
Yeah, I've been back out there, not during this trip, but I was there in mid-November.
Right. I don't know when Deputy Judge Executive went out there today. I intended to go, but I ran short on time.
No
and was
problem.
going to miss a meeting. And so I didn't get out there, but he informs me that there's now been rumble strips put out there, which is cuts in the is it cuts or is it addition? Cuts in it.
Cuts in the asphalt pavement.
Yeah.
To warn people to stop signs.
Right.
And oversized 48-inch stop signs now.
Also, I believe that the oversized stop signs were already put in place. I don't know if that was done after the first wreck, right?
8 days later.
Okay.
Right, and so yeah, it just seems like it definitely helps, but and I realize the cost of a full blown out stop light is a high cost, whereas throwing in a stop sign is under $1,000. It seems like maybe the lit up stop sign or a flashing red light could be a happy medium compromise in some way.
Okay. All right. Well, I know you've brought a lot of attention to it, and our highway engineer's aware of it as well. They're both, I'm told, both state routes, and so it would be the state that would do any work out there as far as any alerts or
Right.
stop signs, the rumble strips, and all that, and not the county. But I do think you've done a good job of bringing the attention to it. Does anybody else have any questions or comments, Brian?
I think we can help too. I mean, we can follow up with, maybe we can send a letter to the state and ask them to take a look at it again.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I think it seemed like I wasn't able to communicate directly with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, but I was kind of communicating with them through the author of the article, Dave from Paducah Sun, and he just said that the next step would be to come here, even though it was a Kentucky state issue. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys listening to what I had to say, and I guess if there is any next official step that I need to know to take, I would definitely appreciate you guys letting me know that if you guys know something I don't.
We might also ask them, I mean, we can make a communication with them to see if the number of accidents out there have decreased since they put the rumble strips
Right.
in the
Absolutely.
big stop sign,
Yeah.
because they usually help
Right.
some. So.
Very great. Thank you.
Sorry for your loss. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are you the gentleman that emailed me?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yes,
well,
yes,
good, I'm glad they made
Yeah,
arrangements
thank
then
you
for you to
very much for,
come.
fitting me in last minute.
Okay.
I came from Virginia, so
Yeah.
it's really great to.
Well, yeah, I just saw that this afternoon, and I knew I wasn't the one that could okay it, but I'm glad they made arrangements for
Thank you guys very
it.
much. I appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. All right, then we have a number of court orders, Madam Clerk.
All right. It is ordered to establish a record of the amended executive order annually setting the dates and times for all regular fiscal court meetings, which corrects the meeting dates for May and November.
Motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. That's passed.
It is ordered that Ellie Spraggs be hired as a full-time deputy clerk with the McCracken County Clerk's Office at an annual salary of $25,000 less statutory deductions effective February 1st, 2019.
Motion?
So made.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered that Tommy Morgan be hired as a temporary deputy coroner effective February 3rd through the 8th at a pay rate of $150 per day with a total pay of $825 less statutory deductions.
Okay. A motion?
So made.
Is this in the budget, or is it, how's this in the budget?
That's, I believe, is that coming out of the coroner's budget? Or is
Yeah,
it coming
that
out?
will come out of the coroner's budget.
Yeah.
He's, right now, he is hired in the security staff. But this part, these days that he works for the coroner will come out of her budget.
Are the other part-time coroners, are they paying $150 a day? Is this equal to?
No. This, well, first of all, did we have a second? Was there a second?
I'll second for the discussion.
Okay. No, I don't know. They get like $9,000 a year. But they're on call, and they get paid $9,000 a year, but there's not a real calculation made of how much they get paid per day. I mean, you could do 9,000 divided by however many work days they have, but this is because the coroner and the two deputy coroners are going to a training February 3 through 8, and so we need somebody. And this Tommy Morgan, he's a previous deputy coroner, right? And so that would be for him to cover that time period. And I think, is he also the one that, there was somebody that was not a deputy who I think left voluntarily, I believe, for about a 3-month period to date. And so that 3 months would be, what, a quarter of 9,000, so whatever that is. And so that's why, one of the reasons why there's money in the coroner's budget to pay for that. And of course, she's a constitutional officer, and so our job is to approve her budget, but it's her job to determine how to divide it up.
And is he currently a county employee?
He is.
So is he going to be paid his regular county salary and this salary?
He's an hourly employee, so he only works what hours, he gets paid what hours he works. So I'm going to assume that he's taking off of this week.
Do we know that, if he's taking off from the 3rd to the 8th of his regular job?
He is going to be
Sheriff
off.
says yes.
Okay, does he work for you? Yes. Okay, so he won't be working for you the 3rd through the 8th?
No.
Okay.
Coroner Melton asked me for our cooperation to try to assist during this time.
Okay.
They're all going to be out of town, as I think you stated. He is our part-time CISO down front, so he's going to be off through our office that entire week to fill in to assist him.
Okay, good. I'm not opposed to this, I just want to make sure I understand what we're doing.
Yeah, so he couldn't be on call and work down there too. I guess he could just leave you hanging and take off, but I'm sure that.
Simplified things, we arranged our schedule where he will not be working anything affiliated with CISO during that week. So he devoted his attention to being on call at 1 o'clock.
So this will come out of the coroner's budget and not your budget?
Well,
This $150 a day will come out of the coroner's budget and not the sheriff's budget?
That's
that right?
correct.
Okay. And the money is in there to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Any other discussion?
Just want to make sure I understand it.
Understand.
I appreciate the questions.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
And opposed, no. Carries.
It is ordered that effective January 1st, 2019, Deputy Jailer Maintenance Supervisor Bobby Dennis's rate of pay increase from $17.64 per hour to $20.14 per hour, less statutory deductions, all of which are subject to further order of the court.
Okay. Any motion?
So made.
Second.
All right, any discussion? No. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries.
It is ordered that effective January 1st, 2019, Deputy Jailer Assistant Maintenance Supervisor Chuck Talley's rate of pay increase from $16.60 per hour to $17.60 per hour, less statutory deductions, all of which are subject to further order of the court.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries.
It is ordered that effective January 1st, 2019, Deputy Jailer Sergeant Forrest Alexander's rate of pay increase from $13.28 per hour to $15.28 per hour, less statutory deductions, all of which are subject to further order of the court.
Any motion?
So made.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, let me comment. We deferred these from the last meeting because we wanted to make sure that it was legal under a statute, and the county attorney researched that and told us it could be increased in mid-year. So we did research this to make sure it was in compliance.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carries.
It is ordered that Chrissy Wallace be promoted to Deputy Jailer Sergeant Class D Coordinator effective January 1st, 2019 at an hourly rate of $18.18 per hour, less statutory deductions, all of which are subject to further order of the court.
Motion?
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
It is ordered that Darren Sullinger be hired as a full-time deputy jailer effective January 22nd, 2019 at an hourly rate of $12 per hour, less statutory deductions, all of which are subject to further order of the court.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
It is ordered to accept the resignation of full-time deputy jailer Trevin Green effective January 13th, 2019. He has no time accumulated.
Motion?
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Opposed, no. Motion carries.
It is ordered to make the following amendments to the McCracken County Clerk's Office 2018 budget. Page 2, line 10, tangible personal property tax. Original was $7,450,450, amended to $7,477,299.26. Page 3, line 35, interest earned $1,450. Was the original, amended to $1,703. Page 3, it should be line 16. Tangible personal property tax, original $595,670, amended to $601,546.72. And the next one is page 4, should be line 24. Tangible personal property tax, original $4,075,575, amended to $4,143,922.33.
Motion.
So made.
I'll second.
Any
Question. The actual order will reflect the proper lines and not the ones printed here,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So is this the?
Do we need to amend the written to make sure it's done right? Usually if we have something in writing, if it's not correct in writing, we do an amendment to make it correct.
Well, I thought if I read it right, then we didn't have to, but,
I just don't want to mess up the budget.
right.
I move we amend J to reflect as they were read.
Okay.
In line 3 and 4, I had the proper lines number, just to make sure we do it right. I don't know, we amend the order to reflect the actual
All right.
as read.
So we've got a motion to approve that as amended then?
Well, we approve the amendment first, then we approve the,
I'll second the amendment.
okay. Then we have to approve the amendment, then we approve the order.
All right. Okay, so you made the motion.
Yeah.
And then you
Eddie
second.
seconded, yeah.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we don't,
Right. That's fine.
All right, and all in favor?
aye,
This is
Opposed?
the amendment. Aye.
and then we approve the order
Well,
as amended.
well, I think that we can, when there's a motion on a matter and there's in the discussion, we want to amend the original motion, we could amend the motion and then do it once, but, so we've got the amendment.
Right. Now we approve the order
Now
as
we're going to
amended.
approve the order that's amended.
Right.
All right, any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. All right. Okay.
So, are we done with that one?
Yes.
Yes,
So, y'all don't have any questions then as to about what this was about?
they all went up. They all-
Right,
they
yeah,
all
it was,
went up good numbers.
right, because we estimate and we actually ended up collecting more than what we estimated. So, of course, since we estimated high, had more income, then the disbursements were higher too, so.
Okay.
Okay, so we're on to the next one. It is ordered to accept the McCracken County Clerk's cumulative quarterly report and annual settlement for calendar year 2018.
Motion?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries.
It is ordered to pay Energy Systems Group LLC invoice number 99000039 in the amount of $13,247 for measurement and verification year 2 in accordance with the Support Services Agreement Exhibit C.
Okay, and that's the, well, as a motion.
So made.
Second.
Second. And discussion, that's what we were talking about with, no, yeah, that's Energy Systems that we got the brief on earlier. So this is to pay them for their work so far. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered that $53,382.16 from the transient room tax escrow fund be transferred to the City of Paducah for bond payment on the Convention Center Series 2017.
Motion?
So move.
Second. We don't want to let go of the money.
And I have a question about this. Do we get a invoice from the city on what the bond payment is? Is this is exactly what the bond payment is that correct?
John Perkins sends me what he gets from the bank.
Okay, so it's a copy of the, so there's no extra money in there, it's just to make
Just the payment.
dollar for dollar, penny for penny bond payment, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, then all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered that $12,500 be paid to Entree Paducah, the same being the third quarter budget allocation for fiscal year 2018-2019.
Okay. A motion?
I'll make that motion.
Any second? For discussion?
I'll
discussion,
second it
yes.
for discussion.
All right, and we've got some discussion.
Yeah, I think I would move that we table this expense. This particular commitment is for a specific program to Paducah Economic Development. And it's my understanding, at least in the past, that we would pay 50, we being the county, the city would pay 50. I think the city opted out of that program last year and chose to use their money for the Sprocket program. I think that has, in any event, I guess I'm not sure that they've actually provided the program. If they have, they have, but I'd like to make sure they've actually provided the program.
Okay. All right, so.
I'll second the motion to table, or
All right.
pass over.
All right. Any, second on that, then any more discussion?
So we're making a
voting
motion
on-
to pass over?
Right, we're voting on the
Yeah,
motion to
okay.
table or pass over this.
And Eddie made that.
Okay. And,
And Commissioner Bartleman, you second?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor of passing over
Who's
table?
gonna find out what's going on with Entree Paducah? I mean,
I'll find out.
okay.
All in favor of passing it over or tabling till next meeting then?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion to pass over or table the payment carries then. And item O.
It is ordered that $62,500 be paid to Greater Paducah Economic Development, same being the third quarter budget allocation for fiscal year 2018-2019.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. We've got board appointments. A board appointment.
It is ordered that Gregory Yates be reappointed to the Carson Park Board effective January 23rd, 2019, and expiring January 22nd, 2023.
Motion?
So made.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. We have any well, let's see. We need to go back to, did you find out something, Sam, on?
I got the order.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I just read this as it is.
So we're going back to whatever line that was.
Budget amendment.
Mhm.
Yeah. The second reading of Budget Amendment 2019-1. Okay.
Just read this as is. Okay. It is hereby ordered that pursuant to KRS Chapter 67, the first reading of ordinance number 2019-01 shall be conducted in summary format as follows.
Supposed to be second.
I'm sorry?
Typo.
Oh, the second
First
reading.
reading's gonna suffice as was done
Okay.
in 14.
Mhm.
Ordinarily, the first reading is comprehensive like that, and the second
Mhm.
reading is more minuscule.
Mhm.
But this time we're gonna do it reverse. It's still gonna be open for inspection, public can see it.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be compliance with the statute. We're just doing it out of order.
Okay.
So
So that needs,
second reading is what it needs.
so instead of saying, that needs to say the second reading.
That's right.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, take two.
Okay. It is hereby ordered that pursuant to KRS Chapter 67, the second reading of ordinance number 2019-01 shall be conducted in summary format as follows. McCracken County, Kentucky, ordinance number 2019-01. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2018-03 by assigning necessary funding to address receipts in certain line items in the fiscal year 2018-2019 McCracken County operations budget in the budget categories pertaining to the general fund, jailer's budget, and sheriff's budget. Summary: the present ordinance operates to amend the fiscal year 2018-2019 McCracken County operational budget by enabling the county to realize certain receipts that the county has obtained that were not previously earmarked to an identified line item and certain receipts that were in excess of the amounts previously assigned. Certification: it is hereby certified by the McCracken County Fiscal Court that the present summary represents an accurate official statement of the main points of and contents of ordinance number 2019-01. Public inspection: ordinance number 2019-01 shall be available for public inspection in its whole and complete form in the McCracken County Judge Executive's office during ordinary business hours.
So made.
Second.
I have a question. Can you go back and look, did you say it was amending, what was the ordinance number that was being, the resolution number was being amended?
It is amending 2018-03.
Okay. I thought you said 19, I just want to make sure.
Oh,
Okay.
no. If I said it, that was by mistake. So, yeah, it should be 2018-03.
Right.
All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. We don't have anything for executive session that I'm aware of. No? A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor, aye. Opposed, no. We're adjourned.